is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southwest.
1 ball, 2 strikes. High fly ball, deep to left field. Back is full at the wall. Goodbye. J.P. Arancibia, a towering 3-run home run. The Rangers lead it 4-1. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T Viewers TV. So welcome back to O.Co Coliseum in the shadow of the Bay Bridge and Golden Gate Bridge, the scene of last night's dramatic 6-run 9th inning. The Rangers today will try to make it 3 in a row over the A's here in Oakland. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Green, Steve Busby. Happy to join us this Thursday afternoon of Rangers baseball. Rangers trying to win their 6th consecutive game, their 3rd in a row over the Athletics tonight. And today, they turn to the young right-hander, Nick Martinez.
Yeah, and it's been a learning experience for Nick all season long. He's been in the rotation the whole season. There's been a couple of times where he said, you know, I've got to attack the strike zone a little bit more, not nibble around the edges, and he's been doing that recently. Pounding the strike zone a little more frequently with his fastball. And even though it's slow growth, it's been steady growth. He's been better, and he's getting better as September winds down. In his last 3 starts, he hasn't won a game, but his ERA is 2.60. I think he feels better about himself, and you sense his body language shows a little more confidence right now than maybe earlier in the year.
Yeah, and good news for Nick Martinez. All 3 of his wins this year have come on the road, so this is a perfect setting for him. He'll be opposing the A's and right-hander Sonny Gray. Rougned Odor, one of last night's heroes, getting set to get underway. We'll have the starting lineups and the first pitch right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. All on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event, now playing at a Ford dealer near you. By AT&T U-Burst TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world. And by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. Partial overcast here. Cloud cover predominantly at Odotco Coliseum before the A's and Rangers start things up. Let's head down to the field and check in with Emily Jones. Em?
Big three-run home run last night from J.P. Arancia. He informed us all that they were crushing dreams one game at a time, so at least they do have a purpose here toward the end of the season. And today, Adam Rosales said, you know what, 5-game winning streak is better late than never.
And anytime you can win, what is it, 5 in a row now? Mm-hmm. I mean, have the opportunity to sweep the A's now. I mean, it's exciting. You know, it just seems like a lot more team chemistry has come alive in the clubhouse, and guys are just playing more loose, like we got nothing to lose.
I will say at this point it is definitely better than the alternative. A lot more, I guess, a lot happier guys around the clubhouse these days, a lot easier to deal with, and obviously we're seeing the results out here on the field. So, as I mentioned, better late than never, and hopefully they can close this thing out on a high note here in Oakland before we head to Anaheim, Buzz.
All right, Emily, thank you. Yeah, it's always a happier time when you come to the clubhouse on a winning streak than it is on a losing streak.
No doubt. If you're winning, it means more guys are playing well and more guys are happy.
That's right. Take a look at the Southwest Airlines Texas Rangers batting order this afternoon. Tim Bogart again has Leonis Martin leading off. He's followed by Elvis Anderson and Rougned Odor. 370 average this year for Odor against Oakland. Adrian Beltre getting a partial day off. He'll bat fourth and be the DH. Jake Smolinski in right field. Tomas Talis is catching. Ryan Rua bats seventh and plays left. Adam Rosales at first base. And batting ninth, the third baseman, Luis Sardinas.
Sonic scouting report for Sonny Gray. 13-8. He's had 30 starts with an excellent ERA, the 9th best ERA in the league. Gets a lot of ground balls, second most in the American League. 4 starts against the Rangers. Done very well. 3-1, a 1.82 ERA. Go back to April 28th in Texas. He shut the Rangers out.
Gray with a tough play. A little short hop throw to Callaspo at first, and Leonis Martin is out. And the difference between that and a good bunt by Martin is he wasn't streaking it out of the box and laying it down.
Yeah. And Gray threw a palm ball to first base, but got away with it.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the A's defense today, brought to you by Progressive. Outfield of Moss, Crisp, and Fulp, left, center, and right. You saw Callaspo at first. Sogard and Lowry man the middle. Josh Donaldson at third, and Derek Norris, the catcher, for Sonny Gray. And Gray in a battle of 24-year-old right-handers here this afternoon. You'd have to say Sonny Gray is just a little bit ahead of the Ranger 24-year-old Nick Martinez. But certainly a preview of maybe a matchup that will occur a lot going forward between these two teams.
A little play at first base. Pretty easy play for Gray. But he didn't have a good grip on the ball. Didn't have much balance either. Fortunately for him, it was a short throw and wasn't a tough play for Callaspo to dig it out.
Pitch low and outside to Elvis. Callaspo getting the start at first base here this afternoon. Bob Melvin trying to find a combination that can close the game out and get a solid defensive performance. The A's have had trouble the first 2 ball games, and Elvis Andrus shoots one through the right side as Callaspo looked like he had his feet stuck in cement. He was not going to move at that no matter what. And Elvis will take that for a 1-out single.
Elvis had a big hit in last night's ball game. 1 out, nobody on. He had the base hit that started the rally for the Rangers in the 9th inning. Hopefully he started another rally with 1 out right here. Great game for Rougned last night. A couple of doubles and just missed a grand slam. Just missed another double that he ripped down the line that the first baseman turned into an out. So he swung it really well last night against good pitching.
Sonny Gray, a belt high set. And Odor lashes one out of play to the left. It is 0-1. Rougned now just a click below the 260 mark. He's done some pretty heavy lifting of late to get it up there. 8 home runs and 42 runs driven in.
Sonny Gray is a bulldog on the mound. He's not a big guy, but he throws like a big guy. He's got low to mid-90s fastball and one of the better curveballs in the league.
Hard hit on one hop to Lowry to second for one. They'll not get the double play. And that was a hard smash off the bat of Odor and well played by Jed Lowry.
You have to really think over the last few games to find a bad at bat for Rougned. Mentioned the outs that he made last night to go along with the doubles that he hit. He starts right off the bat against Sonny Gray, one of the better pitchers in the league. Gets a good pitch to hit and just rips it right at shortstop. And Lowry was fortunate to be able to get to it and catch the short hop, turn it into an out at second base.
No, 2 gone now. Adrian Beltre up with Odor at first. And the pitch to the outside corner by Gray for strike 1. Adrian hitting at .323 for the season. 18 home runs, 71 driven in. .323, good for 3rd in the American League batting race. 0-2. Adrian checking with home plate umpire Gary Cedarstrom to see if that was a strike before he swung at it. Career against the A's, Adrian, 164 games. He has 27 home runs and 95 RBI. 1-2. But Adrian against Sonny Gray has had no success whatsoever. 0 for 9 in the previous matchups against the A's right-hander. I would venture to say there aren't many guys around that Adrian has an offer for his career. 1-2 pitch is coming. Now 2-2. Remember that last night, Kerwin Danley, the home plate umpire, had to leave and hit by a foul on his mask. And Seth Buckminster has been called up to take his place. Buckminster out at second base, a minor league call-up. Still haven't had any official word on Danley. There's a little looper in his center. That's going to fall for a base hit. Going around to third is Odor, and no throw from Coco Crisp. Well, back-to-back, or I should say a 2-out single after Elvis Andrus 1-out single. And the Rangers have runners at the corners for Jake Smolinski.
Yeah, Crisp is a good little ball player, and he can run them down in the outfield. One thing he doesn't do well is throw. And I would think every time the Rangers have a chance to take an extra base, when Crisp has the ball, they will try to take advantage of that. Elvis certainly did it right here, looking right at him, Crisp looking right at him, and didn't even attempt the throw, which was probably a good thing. He makes up for that by charging the ball with his speed and making the throws a little less long and getting rid of the ball, but pure arm strength is just not there.
Smolinski takes a breaking ball that dips in for strike 1.
And go ahead, Buzz.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, chances are when Sonny Gray gets in trouble, you're going to see more curveballs because it's a good one.
Mm-hmm. That it is. Gray okays a sign, a check of the runners. 0-1 to Smolinski. There's another breaking ball, and that one just hangs high and inside. Gray, the first round pick of the A's back in 2011. He was the 18th overall draft pick that year. Out of Vanderbilt University. Well, we're seeing more guys from Vanderbilt coming to the big leagues. There's David Price and a few others that we've seen of late coming out of that program. Foul back to the screen. Smolinski had a good pitch to work with.
Yeah, there was your fastball to hit.
Yeah. Just couldn't quite get on top of it. First major league home run here on Tuesday night, the first game of this 3-game series. Down to the count here, a ball and 2 strikes with Odor at third and Beltre at first. There are your runners as Sonny Gray comes set. Check swing on the breaking ball, and the appeal down to first belatedly Lance Barksdale said, no, that wasn't a swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rangers now have split the 14 games in the series so far this year against the A's. Rangers have won 6 of the 8 games played in this ballpark. They've already won the season series here. Now Gray ready for the 2-2 pitch. To left field, that's down for a base hit. Odor will score into second. Beltre. And Jake Smolinski gives the Rangers a 1-0 lead with the RBI single.
Well, the hitting and the swings are starting to become contagious. The Rangers are having good at-bats. Jake saw several curveballs in that at-bat. The first one was a pretty good curveball for a strike. He fouled off a fastball and then gets another curveball. This one, though, stays right near the middle of the plate. And Jake jumps on it and really hit that ball hard. That's one that you get it up in the air, it's probably got a chance to be a home run. But we'll take a line drive, little two-out rally right here, pick up a run.
Well, 3 hits in the inning, a run across. And Tomas Teles, the switch-hitting catcher, takes strike 1. Teles, a .240 average overall with 5 runs driven in. Got Beltre at second, Smolinski at first here in the first inning. On the outside corner. But Sonny Gray took a little off that. 0-2. Teles playing in his 14th game, and he has hit safely in 9 of the first 13. Just did get a piece of that Gray offering. Still 0-2. The first action that Tomas has had on this road trip. Robinson Chirinos catching the first 2 games here. Jim Bogar, Mike Maddox keeping an eye on things from the Rangers bench. 1-2. Teles this year at AAA down at Round Rock hit .345. It was over 36 ball games. He drove in 17, so a pretty productive job by Teles. And that pitch way high and outside, 2-2. Outfield plays Teles a couple of steps around to the left. Infield just about straight away, and both the shortstop Lowry and Silgar, the second baseman, back at the edge of the outfield grass. And ball 3 sails high. Well, Teles has worked back from an 0-2 count to fill things out. And with 2 outs, both Beltre and Smolinski will be off and moving with the next pitch. And if Teles extends this inning, Ryan Rua will be loosening up to hit next. Payoff pitch, runners on the move, line drive, left field, base hit. Beltre around third will score. The throw coming into the plate, and that allows Smolinski to go on to third, and the Rangers lead it 2-0 as Teles gets it the opposite field RBI single.
Well, he picked the right time to get the hit. 3-2 with 2 outs because Adrian was running on the play. It was a hard hit ball to Moss, and if Adrian is not running on the play, then chances are he stops at third base. But he's on the move. Teles gets a fastball out over the plate, outside corner, does a superb job of lining that ball, not hitting it in the air high, taking the outside pitch and lining it just past Donaldson into left field to pick up another run. A nice rally for the Rangers. Good at bats, well hit balls. One of the outs this inning was probably the hardest hit ball of the inning, was the one that Odor hit to shortstop.
Yeah, Rangers taking advantage of Sonny Gray getting that sinker up a little bit. And when you get that sinker up, it straightens out some. And the Rangers, with 4 singles in this inning, plating a couple of runs. Now runners at first and third. Ryan Rua, a .273 average, steps in. The first breaking ball cuts the strike zone in half.
They have made Sonny Gray throw a lot of pitches now. This will be his 25th pitch coming up.
Kurt Young, Bob Melvin keeping an eye on the charts for Sonny Gray. Oh, and Ryan had a fastball up to work with and fouled it straight back.
Well, Gray has thrown a lot of pitches up, a lot of pitches that have been near the middle of the zone, a lot of hittable pitches, and the Rangers have had 4 base hits in the inning, and they're taking advantage of it. I guess when you've got a good pitcher on the mound, they always say if he doesn't have his best stuff early, you better get him because he might be able to turn it around later.
0-2. Up the middle, base hit to center. In to score Smolinski. Taylor's around to third, and the Rangers playing first and third against Gray and the A's lead it 3-0 here in the first.
Well, it was a great 9th inning last night, and this is one of the better innings of the year for the Rangers right now with the way they've hit a good pitcher, taking advantage of pitches that might not be exactly where he wants to throw them, and getting those hits with men in scoring position. We talked about the last 5 games in the pregame show. The Rangers hitting about .350 with men in scoring position, and they're adding to it this inning with some well-hit balls. These aren't the little bloopers and dribblers.
Yeah.
These are all well-hit balls.
That breaking ball staying up just about knee-high once Ryan Rua got to it. So 3 consecutive 2-out RBI singles. And Adam Rosales, the ball gets away from Norris to the backstop. Sliding in safely is Taylor. On the wild pitch, the Rangers add to the advantage. It is 4-0 Texas.
Boy, just not getting any better for the A's. Last night, the 9th inning just looked like it would never end. And the Rangers were getting on base about every way you possibly could. Today, it's been 5 well-hit balls, and now either a wild pitch or a pass ball brings in another one.
Yeah, it was a pass ball. Yeah. Eric Norris just not able to get his glove down to it and didn't get the glove flipped over. So the pass ball scores the run, and Rosales fouls off the next pitch to even things up. Had a ball and a strike. Rosales, a .297 average with 4 home runs, 17 runs driven in. Gray set the 1-1 pitch. Now 2-1.
Sonny Gray was 1-4 with a .438 ERA in August. Then his first start in September was a start in against Seattle. Gave up 6 runs in 5 innings. Turned it around a little bit the 2 starts prior to this one. But this one's definitely not going very well.
Another high fastball, and Rosales swung through it. 2-2.
Look at the last 3 hits. Smolinski, Taylor, and Rua. All rookies with 2-out RBI hits with men in scoring position.
4-0 Rangers. And the pitch just outside. That runs the count full. Well, Adam Rosales trying to keep this first inning alive. If he does, the Rangers will have batted around. Luis Sardinas is waiting in the on-deck circle. Gray, a long look in. Now he is ready. The payoff pitch. High chopper to third. Donaldson, long throw across. And they get Rosales, and the first comes to a close. But the Rangers score 4 runs on 4 hits and leave 1. After a half inning, Rangers 4, A's coming up. hits in the first inning. I shorted him one. My math isn't very good, but the 4 runs, we know that for sure. Now the A's come to bat against Nick Martinez, and here's the lineup for Oakland. Coco Crisp leads off, the center fielder. Then it's Sam Fuld, followed by Josh Donaldson. The DH today, Adam Dunn. Brandon Moss plays left field and bats 5th. Jed Lowry at short. Derek Norris is catching at .394 average against the Rangers this year. Alberto Callaspo bats 8th. And Eric Sogard, the second baseman, bats 9th.
Sonic scouting report for Nick. 3-11. ERA has come down to 4.93 though. 26 games this year. Much better by almost 2 runs on the road than he has been at home. Very respectable 4.15 ERA on the road. Thrown a lot of pitches, 17.5 pitches per inning. That's the 6th most pitches per inning among American League pitchers who have 100 innings.
The pitch to Crisp is high. That evens the count now to ball and a strike. Coco Crisp, a .251 average. 9 home runs, 45 driven in. Still suffering a bit from the effects of that stiff neck that kept him out of the lineup for 5 or 6 games. And Nick Martinez misses inside to Crisp. 2-1. We mentioned Nick Martinez. All 3 of his wins have come away from Globe Life Park. So maybe a comfortable feeling for the young right-hander. Line to center, going back and to his right. Leonis Martin tracks it down. And Crisp, a hard out, number 1. And let's take a look at the Rangers defense this afternoon, delivered to you by Brake Check. You saw Martin in center. He is flanked by Ryan Arua in left and Jake Smolinski in right. Adam Rosales again at first. Odor and Andrews up the middle. Luis Sardinas is at the hot corner. And Tomas Telis is catching for Nick Martinez. No, 1 up, 1 away. Here's Sam Fuld. And Nick fires strike 1. Fuld, 1 out of 9 in this series. Does have an RBI for the A's. And he pops the next pitch up. Around home plate, Telis had a hard time locating him, but he finally did and able to make the grab. This afternoon, you remember the times we've been in Oakland when there hasn't been a cloud in the sky and guys are losing balls right and left up there. Fortunately, with some cloud cover today, it should be a little bit easier.
Yeah, that'll definitely help. Center field is a terrible sun field here in the daytime. It's one of those sun fields where it's bad almost every position. Infielders have trouble. Everyone will have their sunglasses on today.
Yeah.
Not sure what it's like in right field. Right field might be okay.
Well, 2 outs quickly here in the bottom of the first. Josh Donaldson, the third baseman, steps in. And Nick Martinez, for the 3rd straight hitter, throws strike 1.
We talked about Nick being able to pound the strike zone better with his fastball. And maybe he's just not trying to be quite so fine with it, but not afraid to utilize his strengths and throw strikes with him.
Mm-hmm. And having a 4-run advantage real quick doesn't hurt.
Yeah, we were talking about that the last few days.
And Derek Holland would have given his right arm, not his left arm, but his right arm for a run or 2 last night. But as it turned out, Rangers able to walk away with a win. 2-1 the count to Josh Donaldson. Line last night for Holland at 6 1/3. Just the 1 earned run. Derek had to dance around a couple of hot spots, but did it effectively. 4 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. 2-1 pitch. Hard hit, but right at Elvis Andrews. Gobbles that up. High throw, but plenty of time to come back down for Adam Rosales and apply the tag. It's a 1-2-3 first inning for Nick Martinez and the Rangers. We're going on to inning number 2, 4-0 Texas. To give to the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation as part of the North Texas Giving Day. Just visit NorthTexasGivingDay.org, and your donations will help more kids get in the game, get fit, and get prepared for college. Donations made today are supplemented with bonus funds and prizes. Make a donation at NorthTexasGivingDay.org and do it today. Now the Rangers come to bat here in the top of the second, leading 4-0. A 4-run first inning, and Luis Sardinas, the only Ranger that did not face Sonny Gray in that opening frame, starts off the second. And the first pitch is in at the belt, 0-1. Sardinas sitting at 271, a switch hitter, and has a 3-game hitting streak coming into play here this afternoon. Sogard on the run away from first. That's an accurate throw, and Sardinas is out number 1.
Yeah, Tim Bogart was saying that he considered Sardinas for a pinch hit appearance because he's a pretty good contact guy with first and third and 1 out last night in the 9th inning, but ultimately decided to play his gut with JP Arancibia. Felt like it was a good matchup and just felt like JP was going to rise to the occasion, which is exactly what happened.
Dream Crusher struck again.
He did.
Here's a bunt by Martin, a good one. The throw by Gray. Oh, what a play by Sonny Gray. That took every bit of athletic ability Sonny Gray had to get Leonys Martin.
Very nice play. We've seen that same bunt several times in the last couple of weeks, and it's been a base hit most of the time. Sonny Gray fields it like a shortstop and then gets a little bit of help from Cayaspo at first base as he picks out the low throw from the ground. Very nice play.
Sure was. So 2 out very quickly here in the second. Elvis Andrus, who started that run for the Rangers in the first with a 1-out single, takes in the dirt for ball 1.
The Rangers had a 6-run rally last night with 1 out. Elvis started it with a single, a 4-run rally 1 inning later than that in the first inning today with a 1-out base hit to right field. And we've seen that bunt with other pitchers who probably wouldn't even have been able to throw the ball. They would have just picked it up and watched Martin go to first base, let alone get him out. Yeah,
particularly right-handers who tend to fall off toward the first base side anyway. Boy, Sonny Gray, excellent job defensively. The swing and a miss by Elvis, and the count goes to 2-1.
Yeah, Gray's fastball, let's say it's 92, 93. His changeup, we'll call it, is 87 or 88. It doesn't have the traditional ballpark figure 10 miles an hour differential, but seems to be pretty effective.
Yeah, it's not one of those swing and miss changeups all the time. He gets weak contact.
Right.
Is, to me, just more effective.
Probably better, yeah.
Yeah.
Saves you pitches.
Sure does. 2-2 to Elvis. 2 outs, bases empty. Got him swinging. Well, Sonny Gray, after a 4-run first, comes back and has a 1-2-3 second inning. Rangers gone. And after 1.5, it's the Rangers 4, the A's 0. Bottom of the second inning, Rangers with that 4-0 advantage, and Adam Dunn going after that first fastball from Nick Martinez with no success. 0-1. Dunn, the DH this afternoon, had a pinch hit, base hit in last night's ball game, and that crucial 8th inning for the A's. And I say crucial, well, the 6-run 9th inning obviously hadn't happened yet, and the A's loaded the bases in that 8th with nobody out and did not score. Great job by the Ranger bullpen to work around that, and as it turned out, that really made the difference in the game. The Rangers then able to capitalize with that shift in momentum to get to Sean Doolittle for 6 in the 9th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Martinez back to the plate. Good fastball this afternoon from Nick.
I'll take my chances if I'm Nick with that fastball in that exact location. Adam Dunn.
Yep.
He may make contact, but I don't think he's going to drive it very far.
Dunn with 22 home runs for the year, 61 driven in. Right there.
There you go. Keep it up there.
First strikeout for Nick Martinez as he makes quick work of Adam Dunn.
Yeah, good velocity, too. That's 93 miles an hour. Maybe a mile an hour or 2 higher than Nick has generally been throwing the ball. Generally, he's around 91. He had good velocity and excellent location in that at bat to Adam Dunn.
Now Brandon Moss, left-handed hitting infielder, outfielder, first baseman, outfielder, playing in the outfield today. He takes strike 1 from Nick Martinez. Shift, the extreme overshift. Well, the Rangers with Rougned Odor playing in the rover position out there in right field. Moss with 25 home runs. He homered both Sunday against Seattle in the first game here on Tuesday night after a 39-game homerless streak. 1-1. Along with the 25 home runs, 80 RBI. That's second on the A's ball club to Josh Donaldson. Off the end of the bat toward right field, and Jake Smolinski a couple of steps to his right. That is out number 2.
Well, sure looked like a fastball, but he took something off, and he was out in front of it, hit it right off the end of the bat.
Well, folks, it's time for you to tweet your photo for a chance to have it shown on one of our upcoming broadcasts. And, of course, all this possible thanks to the good folks at AT&T. Simply use hashtag Southwest Fan Photo, and your photo might be selected to be aired during one of our telecasts on Fox Sports Southwest. We'll show you this afternoon's selection a little bit later on in the ball game. Quickly, 2 outs. Jed Lowry taking strike 1. Lowry, the switch hitting shortstop, up there batting .241. To center field, Leonis Martin cruising back to his right. And that is 6 straight now set down by Nick Martinez. 3 up, 3 down in the second. On to the third we go, 4-0 Rangers. Fans, the most popular way to follow the September pennant races is with MLB.com At Bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball. You get live look-ins, replay reviews, scores, live radio broadcasts, the MLB.TV Game of the Day, and a whole lot more. You can get At Bat for your smartphone or tablet at the App Store, or you can visit MLB.com. Third inning, Rougned Odor leading off against Sonny Gray, and he takes outside for ball one. Odor had a hard hit ball that was flagged down by Jed Lauer, the shortstop, turned it into a fielder's choice in the first inning. That was the second out of that first inning, and after that, Rangers had 4 consecutive run-scoring singles. Back to Gray, and a wide throw, and again, Callasco having to dig one out of the dirt. Odor retired.
Third time this year, this day, that Gray has thrown one low.
Adrian Beltre coming up. Let's take time right here, though, for a Mazda game break with John Radigan. John? All right, John, thank you. Adrian Beltre had a solid line drive to center in that first inning. He also scored a run. That was chopped down foul at home plate. 0-2 the count. So Adrian with that first inning single, now a .324 average. Trailing Victor Martinez and Jose Altuve in that American League batting race. Boy, Altuve, what a year that little second baseman has happened for the Astros. He already set a franchise record for hits for Houston this year, 211.
Yeah, you know, when Houston becomes, if they ever do, a contender, he's having the kind of year that qualify for the MVP.
Yeah.
At least someone to get considered the way he's played.
Beltre not able to get on top of that high fastball from Sonny Gray. 2 gone, his second strikeout as Gray now has retired the last 6. So next will be Jake Smolinski. Jake drove in his 8th run of the year with a single. First of 3 consecutive run-scoring singles in that first inning. 1 ball, no strikes. Smolinski with that base hit has extended his hitting streak to 5 consecutive ball games, makes him 6 for 16. Average up to .378. 1-1 the count. Sonny Gray to the wind. And the pitch is lined to left field, and Smolinski is 2 for 2.
Well, you talk about coming back from a long layoff, having been hot and just staying hot. Home run the other night. He had a curveball to left on a line, and now a fastball to left on a line. 2 at-bats, 2 ropes to left field. Says, I don't have much time to show what I can do for next season, so I'm going to take advantage of this last 10 days.
That's 7 weeks that he spent on the disabled list. He had to have been working on his hitting to keep that stroke going. He has been something.
He's not just, you don't just look at him and say, well, it's kind of lucky or he's having a hot streak. He's taking good at bats, laying off some pitches, nice short stroke, hitting the ball hard. Jake's been very impressive.
Tomas Telis, the RBI single in the first. Now 6 runs driven in at the big league level. Telis, as we mentioned, his 14th start behind the plate here this afternoon. That's after his call up from AAA Round Rock back on the 25th of August. Benji Molino over there having a little chat with Jake Smolinski. Say, hey, Sonny Gray's got a pretty quick move over here first. So Let's not be getting picked off.
Yeah, don't make me look bad when I go back to the dugout.
Foul back and out of play. It's no balls and 2 strikes. One thing we've noticed about Tomas Teles, he was very much a free swinger, but makes pretty good contact. And sometimes that works to his detriment. Some of the pitches he swings at and makes contact are so bad that you can't put him in play very sharply. Gray okays the sign. He is set. Throw first base way. Smolinski back with a dive. Sonny Gray just over the 50 pitch mark now at 52 with his next offering. Got him swinging. Oh, Gray with a couple of strikeouts in the inning has 3 for the afternoon. Gives up a hit but strands a runner. After 2.5, Rangers 4, A's nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. And by the all-new Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. Busy place, that Golden Gate Bridge, if you look from the northern approach to it. Over in Marin County. And busy guy on the mound this afternoon for the Rangers. And that is Nick Martinez, who has sent the first 6 down in order against the A's. Now he'll face the bottom third of the Oakland order, Derek Norris, Alberto Callaspo, and Eric Sogard. Norris handled the DH chores in last night's game. Steps in hitting at .270. 10 home runs, 53 runs driven in. Nick Martinez just misses outside for ball 1. And as usual, Norris giving the Rangers some fits, no matter what his overall average has been. He's gone 2 for 6 in the first 2 games of this series against the Rangers. There is a strike, 1-1. Norris, a career .318 average against Texas with 4 home runs in 33 games. Martinez back to him. Jammed him with a good fastball. 1-2.
Yeah, early in the game, Nick is really featuring his fastball. 92, 93 miles an hour. Pretty good command with it. Keeping it in on the hitters. Do a couple of good high fastballs to strike out Adam Dunn. Working ahead of Derek Norris right here.
Martinez to the wind. And the pitch is just off the outside corner. Fastball didn't miss by much, but Gary Cederstrom, no inclination to ring that one up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Norris, another one of the A's that just cold back in August as he kind of typified the plight of the A's. He'd been a 300 hitter prior to the first couple of days of August. Since then, just barely a 200 hitter, 213 since then. And that's, in a nutshell, what's happened to the A's. They just have not had things go as well since August as they had before that. Martinez with the payoff pitch to Norris. Try it again. The A's, as of the 10th of August, were 4 games up in the American League West. Bob Melvin's club had the best record in baseball. And since then, they have lost 15 games in the standings to the Los Angeles Angels. Angels clinching the division title last night. Towering pop foul in foul territory goes Adam Rosales, but he can't get there in time. Even with all that real estate, too much to cover. We'll try another 3-2 pitch. Yeah, the pitching for the A's has been still pretty good, but hitting just really has fallen off. They've averaged less than 3 runs a game in their last 19. I don't care how good your pitching is, it's going to be tough to string together a lot of W's with fewer than 3 runs a game to work with. Another 3-2. High ball 4. Derek Norris becomes the first base runner for the A's this afternoon. A leadoff walk, and it will bring up Alberto Callaspo. Nick now try to regroup, reset the focus for Callaspo. Saw Callaspo last night as a pinch hitter. He was one of the 2 pop-outs with the bases loaded, no out situation in the 8th inning. Takes a fastball that just misses the mark. It's 1-0. Callaspo at 228 overall. Last 16 games, and again, another A's hitter that has fallen on extremely hard times. 0.98 the average for Callaspo. 2-0 now. Nick Martinez after the walk, maybe a little break in concentration. There's a walk down behind the mound and a little rosin bag action and reset. Get back up there and go after Callaspo. Nick, a check of first. 2-1.
Threw that fastball right by Callaspo.
Yep.
Callaspo's a veteran hitter. He swung at that pitch when it was in the catcher's mitt. 2-0. He's looking for a fastball. I guess he was looking for a fastball. Swung at it like he's looking for a changeup.
Martinez again set, the 2-1 pitch coming. And he popped it up. Sardinius back behind third in fair territory. That is out number 1. Norris staying at first base, and that'll be Eric Sogard's turn.
Went right after him, 2-0 with a couple of good fastballs. Threw one by him, then got that one in on Callaspo. Jammed him, little pop-up. Good command of his fastball and extensive use of his fastball so far in this ball game for Nick.
Look at the Rangers, the innings pitched report leaderboard showing that Colby Lewis leads all Ranger pitchers, 158 and a third. Yu Darvish shut down for the year, so he'll stay at 144 and a third. Now Nick Martinez, 20 behind Darvish. And Martinez fires strike 1 to Eric Sogard. Sogard a 222 average, a home run, 21 RBI. He is one of the few A's that has been swinging a hot bat of late. It's at 273 since the All-Star break.
Same thing.
Yep. right on the fist, and Elvis handles that one. 2 gone.
Again, the same theme. 9 batters into the game for the A's. They're getting pounded with Nick's fastball, and they're not doing much with it. But he's locating it pretty well, too. Up and in, right where he wanted it. Maybe through 9 batters as well as we've seen him do it this year.
I think you're right.
On a consistent basis.
Yeah. We haven't seen Nick be able to jam left-handers that often. He does it occasionally, but boy, today is as good as it's been.
He's thrown 33 pitches. At least 25 of them have been fastballs.
Now Coco Crisp for his second at bat. And he gets a breaking ball on the first pitch that dips inside for ball 1. Crisp lined out to center field as he led things off for the A's here this afternoon. 251 the average for the switch hitting center fielder. 1-0 pitch from Martinez. Now 2-0. Crisp, a 35-year-old veteran, and against the Rangers this year, another good campaign. A 3.02 average with a home run and 6 driven in 10 games. Blowing inside, 3 balls and no strikes. Well, Martinez walked Eric Norris to start the inning, then got a couple of pop-outs. Now he's falling behind Crisp at 3 balls and no strikes. Sam Fuld will be next in the A's order. And ball 4. A 4-pitch walk that puts runners at first and second with 2 outs. And Fuld coming up. And before that, Mike Maddox going to make a trip to the mound.
Well, it just got away from him a little bit in that at bat to Crisp. The walk to Norris was a little bit different. He ended up walking him, but he threw a lot of strikes in that at bat. Norris just fouled off 3 or 4 pretty well located fastballs in that at bat. Finally got ball 4. That at bat to Crisp, he just wasn't very close to coming near the strike zone. Just let Crisp get away from him. They want to get Sam Fuld right here before give the A's a chance to get anything going here with 2 outs.
Yeah, sometimes, and Nick started Crisp off with a breaking ball that time. That's the first time he started to hit her off with a breaking ball. And sometimes when you miss with that first pitch, all of a sudden you get a little tentative. You say, well, I missed with that one, so I've got to come back with a better fastball. And you put too much pressure on making a perfect pitch. Then you fall behind 2-0. It becomes more of a problem. Now here's Sam Fuld, who popped out in foul territory to the catcher Taylor his first time. Pitch number 1 is a bit low for ball 1. Fuld at 245. 4 home runs, 34 driven in. Fuld picked up from the Minnesota Twins. A's sending Tommy Malone to Minnesota. Pitch foul backing out of play. This is the 44th game since joining the A's for Sam Fuld. He's hit 220. The acquisition took place at the trading deadline on July 31st. Derek Norris, a runner at second. Coco Crisp at first. 2 outs here in the 3rd. 2 balls and a strike. Martinez a check of the runners. Down the right field line, that is trouble as it's going to the corner. Norris will score. Coco Crisp being waved around. The relay throw from Odor. The slide, he's safe. Davies couldn't hang on to it. It's a 2-run double for Sam Fuld, and it cuts the Ranger lead in half. It's now 4-2.
Fuld had a hit to drive in a run last night. The A's only run. He drives in the first 2 today. The A's aren't really swinging the bats very well, but the one way to let a team back in is to put him on with walks, and there's been 2 walks in this inning, and now both of them have scored.
First hit of the afternoon for Oakland. And Sam Fuld driving in a pair with that double. He advanced to third on the throw. Now here's Josh Donaldson. The first breaking ball is low and outside for ball 1. Donaldson, a ground ball to short back in the first. Team leader with those power numbers, 27 home runs, 95 RBI. Another breaking ball in the check swing, the appeal down to first. Lance Barksdale said, nope, no swing, it's 2-0. Last 31 games, only 2 home runs for Donaldson. That's after hitting 25 in the first 116 games. Center field, Leonis Martin going back onto the track and makes the catch about halfway back on the cinders. Oh, a long fly from Donaldson, that'll do it, but the A's scored twice on 1 hit and leave 1. Go to the 4th inning, 4-2 Rangers. Now a reminder for you, the tickets are on sale now for the 2nd annual Eli Young Band's house party. This year's event is November the 8th, and it features Eli Young Band, Gary Allen, Pat Green, Cody Johnson, and Matty and Tay. Tickets for the event start at just $29, and they're available on TexasRangers.com/Eli Young Band. Well, the A's score a couple in the bottom of the 3rd. Now the Rangers come to bat, leading 4-2 here in the top of the 4th inning. Bottom 3rd of the order, Ryan Rua, Adam Rosales, and Luis Sardines to take on Sonny Gray, who has turned things around since that difficult first inning. He's retired 6 out of 7 the last 2 innings. Ryan Rua, the RBI single in the first. 0-1. Rua now with that base hit, a hit in each of his last 3 ball games. On 4 for 10 in that span. Up the middle into center field, a base hit, and Rua is 2 for 2. And the Rangers back at it again here in the 4th inning. Leadoff single.
Just like the Rangers in the last 5 games. Ryan Rua having good at bats. His first stint in the big leagues, and he's doing a nice job. Hitting over probably right around 290 now with 2 hits in this ball game. 1 produced an RBI. It's a sinker, hits it on the ground, but right back up the middle for a leadoff single.
No, one on, nobody out. Rua at first. Here's Adam Rosales, who grounded a third. That ended the Ranger first. Like Adam trying to take that ball to the right side, and that was a pretty tough pitch to do that with.
I'll say.
Up and in, and no chance. You know, having a swing like that might bother some guys. I don't think it bothers Rosales too much. He just forgets that and comes back to the next pitch.
Step to left and hit it to right.
Rosales a 295 average. Gray back to him. The pitch is a bit low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rosales now 4 out of 10 in the first 2 games plus 1 at bat in this series. A 3-game hitting streak. Seen him go 6 for 12 with a double. Gray, a belt high set. And Rosales, fly ball to left. Got it down toward the end of the bat a bit, and Brandon Moss able to capture that. Out number 1, Rua back to first, and Luis Sardinas will be next.
Now batting, number 3, Luis Sardinas.
Sardinas leading off the second inning. Grounded out to second. 0 for 1 this afternoon. Prior to today, had not played in either of the first 2 games against the A's in this series. Chance here to start at third in place of Adrian Beltre, who gets the partial day off as a DH. Sonny Gray fires strike 1. Ryan Rua inching off the bag at first. Sonny Gray checks him. Fairly close play at first, but Rua back with the dive. Gray, very quick feet. You mentioned he's a great athlete, and 24-year-old, a very accomplished pitcher all the way around. Fields his position well. I've seen that on a couple of plays, bouncing off the mound today. One ball and 1 strike. Sardinas checking with Gary Pettis, the Ranger third base coach. Ryan Rua at first. Sonny Gray reading the signs, and as he checks Rua, here comes set. Ground ball to the hole, to second for 1. Return to first, not in time. Lowry just had too far to go, and the ball didn't get there as quickly as he needed it. They do get the 4, so Rua is erased at second. Luis Sardinas at first
batting,
now, but with 2 outs for the top of the order.
Martin.
I'll see if Sardinas, who runs fairly well, tries to steal a base right here.
Leonis Martin twice has tapped back to the mound. Last time it was a bunt. Gray, a pretty quick move over there to get Sardinas back diving. Martin going to push the bunt to the third base side, and Sonny Gray getting off the mound very quickly, able to get him by a step at first. So 0 for 2. 277 the average now for Leonis. And that first breaking ball nibbles at the outside corner for strike 1. Sardinas a fairly good lead at first. Gray checks him. Martin fouls that next pitch off. No balls and 2 strikes. Well, Leonis, last 5 ball games, having a little bit more trouble, just 5 for 22. But you look back over the last better than a month. 32 ball games. He's at 370. Of course, Tim Bogart said initially one of the things that he wanted to do is have Leonys Martin in that leadoff spot every day for the rest of the year. There goes Sardinius. The pitch is high, and Norris can't find the handle. So it'll be a stolen base for Sardinius. He gets himself into scoring position. There's your stolen base, Tom.
Yeah, it appeared he had pretty good jump. That's kind of a prime time to go. You got the leadoff hitter up there with 2 strikes, so he's in a hole. You get thrown out. Next inning starts with your leadoff hitter starting all over again, which is not a bad situation to be in. And if you're safe, leadoff hitter drops a single in, you score a run. That's why Sonny Gray threw over to first base. He sensed that that was going to be a good opportunity.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Leonys Martin. And again, the A's having a devil of a time throwing out opposing base stealers. 83% success rate, which is the highest in the major leagues for their opponents. Now 94 of 112, so it's a little bit over 83%. 2-2, the count to Martin. Now ball 3. Leonys able to eyeball a couple of close pitches, works the count back full. He's trying to extend this inning to get aboard to join Luis Sardinius. Elvis Andrus, the Rangers shortstop, will be next. Gray okays the sign. And the payoff pitch. Outside, ball 4. Martin draws a 2-out walk.
He threw him a changeup. Might have had a chance if he threw a first strike, but he wasn't able to do that.
Number 1, Elvis Andrus.
Good call by Gary Cederstrom, the home plate umpire. That pitch was in the chew zone. Seen that? We've seen that pitch called this year. Who knows? 30 times, 40 times to Shin-Soo.
Here's Elvis, who is 1 for 2. He's got runners at first and second, 2 outs. He's trying to get a couple of those runs back that the A's put on the board last half inning. Rangers leading 4-2. They would like to reclaim a little larger lead. Elvis, a single back in the first inning, struck out in the second. First pitch breaking ball, 0-1, and Eric Norris going to go out and say something to Sonny Gray. I don't know whether he might have been crossed up on that pitch. I'm not a good lip reader, so I can't tell you what he was talking about.
And they gave us a shot, too. He didn't put his glove over his face like they do so often. He doesn't care if we see what he's saying. What are we going to do? Relay it to the hitter?
Exactly. Now the Rangers at runners in scoring position average coming up of late. It's still just 245. Couple aboard here for Elvis. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sonny Gray had something like a 32 pitch inning in the first inning. Settled down with pretty good pitch count since then, though.
The right-hander readies himself. And hits the outside corner. 1-2. Elvis not agreeing with Gary Cederstrom on the call of that pitch. And our Jack in the Box pitch tracker showing that pretty good pitcher's pitch. 1-2. Sardinius at second. The pitch low and outside. Sardinius going to third. Now the throw to second. Leonys Martin is safe.
Oh, that was close.
Sure was.
And that kind of a play, if you're the runner at first, you can't break until you see what the other guy is going to do. So it was no problem. Sardinius got a good jump. Norris had no chance at third. But because Martin has to wait just a split second before he can go, He's got a shot at second, but Martin, as we'll see right there, slides in right ahead of the tag.
Yep.
Base hit, scores 2 now.
Yeah, so the wild pitch gets the Rangers an opportunity that's even better. Second and third, 2 balls, 2 strikes the count to Elvis. And Sonny Gray now with second and third will work from the stretch still. Right-hander okays the sign. Elvis just able to get a piece of that breaking ball. Had Elvis way out on his front foot, and Elvis just able to spoil it.
Good strike. Tough pitch to hit, but all you got to do is foul it off and hang in there. Maybe he hangs this one next time and you get a good pitch to hit.
Another 2-2 is coming. Hard hit to center, but moving back and to his right, Coco Chris. Elvis hit it on the nose, but comes up empty. Rangers get a hit and strand a couple of runners after 3.5. Rangers 4, A's 2.
Hey fans, it's time to play Name That Tune, presented by State Farm. I'm here with Matt from Sacramento.
To the bottom of the fourth here at O.Co Coliseum. Nick Martinez back out on the hill for Texas, and it's been a learning experience for Nick this year. And one thing in particular he says stands out is this.
Up here, slider plays as a better breaking ball than curveball, you know, in late in counts, just because big league hitters are able to, you know, stay on it a lot longer and don't really swing where it's at, and they're able to follow it and, you know, all the way down and get a good swing off it.
And I guess that's one of those things, guys, we talk about it all the time, the speed of the game, the different aspects that are so drastically different from the minors to the majors. Interesting to hear Nick's take on what he feels like specifically for him was not working at this level, and what he can take from it to try to improve his game the rest of this season and into next.
No, thanks, Tim. Yeah, that's a good point. It's and I agree with Nick. I mean, unless you have a great command of that downer curveball, pretty tough to throw one in the strike zone that's not fairly hittable for major league pitchers.
Well, we were talking about that the other night, Buzz,
yep,
that you don't see as many good curveballs now, and maybe that's the reason why. The feeling is big league hitter has a better chance of hitting a curveball now than he does a fastball. Boy, he's swung and missed at 6 straight fastballs.
Sure has.
Hasn't fouled one off yet.
And Nick Martinez with 2 strikeouts. They've both been Adam Dunn. One gone.
He's got him with high fastballs. He's got that one's right down the middle of the plate. Got him with that one. Might have been maybe on the outside corner.
Next will be Brandon Moss. Yeah, and back to that curveball thing. To have a good curveball, you can't throw many of them for called strikes. If guys don't swing at them, you know, it's not gonna be a very good curveball because you're not going to get enough strikes out of it. And the minor leagues, I think guys swing at that pitch more often, as Nick said, that big league hitters tend to follow the slower breaking ball better and adjust to it better. Slider, a little less time to decide, and it looks more like a fastball. Brandon Moss, a fly ball to right, his first time up. Like he took a little bit off, and the changeup floated in. 1-2 now. Moss at home this year, a 2.01 average. That's the lowest home average in the American League. Two balls, two strikes. Rangers 4 runs on 7 hits. The A's 2 runs on just 1 hit. Fly ball way up in the air to left field. Ryan Rua now backpedaling a bit as the breeze takes it further toward left, and that is out number 2. That's one of those balls that on a clear day here that is going to be a problem. Way up in the air and battling the sun and whatever breeze there is. But a little bit of cloud cover, it helps out. Two gone for Jed Lowry. And he takes strike 1 from Nick Martinez. Lowry, after flying out to center field, now 0 for 9 in his current streak, 0 for 8 in the series. And he pops this one up into center field. Enos Martin ambling in. That will do it. So very quick work of the A's by Nick Martinez. We have finished 4 innings. It's the Rangers 4, the A's 2 on Fox Sports Southwest.
Hey fans, here with the Salazar family from Petaluma, and they're
Saturday morning at 10 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Southwest, where it's not about the score, it's about the experience. The Rangers having another good experience here at Odotco Coliseum. They're leading 4-2 as they come to bat in the top of the 5th inning. Rougned Odor, Adrian Beltre, and Jake Smolinski to face Sonny Gray. Gray gave up 4 first-inning runs since then, has allowed just 2 base hits and a walk. Misses high and away. Rougned 0 for 2, reached on a fielder's choice and scored the first Ranger run back in that first inning. Last time up, tapped back to the mound. Gray's 1-0 pitch. Ball and a strike.
Well, it looks like Gray has a little better location with his fastball, a little bit more movement on it than he had in the first inning. Fastball was fairly straight in the first inning. He got a lot of them up and out over the plate. Hung a curveball or so, and the Rangers jumped on him, took advantage of it.
Odor fouls off the next one. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. I think that watching Nick Martinez and Sonny Gray, a pretty good contrast. There's not a whole lot of difference stuff-wise between the two. Velocity is fairly similar, and I think what Sonny Gray does that Nick Martinez hasn't mastered yet is work both sides of the plate consistently. And Nick is having a good day working the left-handers inside today, but that's not always the case. So it's a matter of consistency for Nick Martinez, and you see the same kind of ability that Sonny Gray has, same kind of results that Sonny Gray has had. Two and two, the count to Rugnet. Got him swinging. Strikeout number 4. 1 gone for Adrian Beltre.
Adrian had a base hit in the first inning. John Blake informs us that was his 2,591st hit, which puts him past Vladimir Guerrero for the most hits from any player from the Dominican Republic. A lot of great players from the Dominican Republic. Adrian now leads them all in hits.
And Beltre takes the first pitch low and away for ball 1. Beltre 1 for 2 with a run scored. Last time up in the third, he went down swinging. Two balls, no strikes. Adrian, over the years, the second most home runs and hits against Oakland that he has against any team. Top team, the Los Angeles Angels. Beltre against the Angels, 34 home runs, 207 hits, and against the A's, 27 home runs and 183 hits. That's doing a lot of damage on the West Coast. 3-0 pitch coming from Gray. Now 3-1. Gray with 4 strikeouts has not, he has walked a batter. That was in the 4th inning. That's the only pass he has issued. And he makes the second walk. Adrian Beltre double checking with Gary Cederstrom before heading down to first. So Adrian aboard for the second time today. 1 on, 1 out for Jake Smolinski. And let's take a look at the Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery. And in the first inning, he had 3 consecutive run-scoring singles. Jake Smolinski, Tomas Teles, and then Ryan Rua. How about that? Freaky fast fashion with rookie RBI base hits. Just got that done thanks to Jimmy John for bringing us that little feature. And here is Jake Smolinski, who is 2 for 2.
All those hits were hit hard, too.
The strike to Jake. Yeah, they were. There was nothing cheap about that. They were filling it up with line drives in that first inning. And the base hit that Jake had his last time up was a sharp line drive to left field. 391 the average for Smolinski as Beltre at first with 1 out. And another base hit to center. Beltre going to head on over to third. Crisp will toss the ball back into second. Jake Smolinski 3 for 3 today, and the Rangers have runners at the corners and 1 out for Tomas Teles.
And all of them have been hit well, too. Except 1 fastball and a couple of off-speed pitches. Adrian taking advantage of Coco Crisp and not even hesitating to go to third. That was a pitch out over the plate, maybe outside corner, maybe a little bit outside. No, right on the outside corner and away. Headed toward the end of the bat. Still hit it pretty well, though.
The Rangers now with 8 base hits against Sonny Gray. And Kurt Young, the pitching coach, out there to talk to him. One thing that's been the savior for Sonny Gray Look at Dan Otero throwing in the bullpen. All 8 hits have been singles. If the Rangers have mixed in an extra base hit in there, it would be better than a 2-run advantage. Folks, very quickly, I want to remind you that Southwest Airlines is celebrating the arrival of 15 new non-stop destinations out of Dallas Love Field. Just go to southwest.com/RangersLove to enter to win round-trip tickets. Tomas Taylor flailing at that first pitch, fouls it off. It is 0-1. Taylor's an RBI single in the first inning. Struck out in the third. Taylor's the switch hitter up there, batting lefty against the right-hander Gray. 0-1 pitch coming. And that's out of play to the left. 0-2, the count to Taylor's. Folks that have not been with us the first 2 games of this series, and the lines you see on the field, holdovers from football game. Raiders and A's share this facility. Raiders have already played several football games here, and the field gets pretty well chewed up. He's again fouling a pitch off. Field runs from the left field bullpen to the right field bullpen and out maybe 30 yards beyond the rim of the outfield and center field. You can see in dead center where they pull the stands in toward the sidelines where Coco Crisp is. It looks a little shoddy, and it's extremely hard out there. They roll this field with an actual street roll and put sod down. 1-2 to Taylor's. So you see a ball get into a gap, there's no way for anybody to cut it off. I mean, it's going to take one bounce and shoot right on through. Even the infield's pretty hard. Norris flashed the signs out. Sonny Gray ready, a check of the runners. Ground ball behind second. The second for 1, the throw not in time to get the double play. In to score is Beltre. And Taylor gets the RBI on the fielder's choice ground out. It is 5-2 Texas.
They hit it toward the middle. You couldn't tell right off the bat whether they had a chance to turn 2. Jake Smolinski got down there quickly just to make sure.
Now
they couldn't get a good throw to first base. Shortstop flips it to the second baseman, who immediately notices the runner right on top of him. Look how quickly Jake gets down there. Sogard can't get anything on the throw, and Taylor beats it, picks up an RBI.
Now imagine Sogard's surprise having his back to the runner Smolinski when he got the ball from Lowry, turning around and seeing Smolinski right in his lap. That can't be a very good feeling. No, the Rangers get a run on that infield ground out. The fielder's choice, and now Ryan Rua, who is 2 for 2. Rua, an RBI single in the first, single to lead off the 4th inning. Tomas Taylor with 2 runs driven in, over at first, 2 gone here in the 5th inning. Sonny Gray, a belt high set, and the 0-1. Center field, Coco Crisp handles that, and the Rangers are gone in the 5th. They do score a run on a hit and strand 1. We're halfway through the ball game. It's the Rangers 5 and the A's 2. Well, the latest, last giveaway, this homestand, a unique giveaway, comes up Tuesday, September the 23rd. And the first 15,000 fans coming to the 7:05 game against the Astros will receive a Rangers Garden Gnome, courtesy of Coca-Cola. Be sure to get your tickets for this collectible item at TexasRangers.com.
Leading off the bottom of the Cincinnati for the Athletics, the catcher, number 36.
Rangers get one of the runs back that Oakland scored. 5-2 now. Rangers up by 3 as Nick Martinez back to the hill to face the bottom third of the Oakland order. Derek Norris, Alberto Callaspo, and Eric Sogard here in the 5th inning. Norris walked and scored in that 3rd inning. The only 2 walks that Nick Martinez issued were in that 3rd, and both came around to score on the 2-run double from Sam Full.
And Nick bounced back from that inning nicely in the 4th inning. He had a quick inning, a strikeout, and a couple of flyouts.
1-0 pitch. Now 2 balls, no strikes. Norris a .270 batting average. First time he's ever faced Nick Martinez this ball game this afternoon. And 3-0 now the count. Nick in danger of walking Norris for the 2nd time to lead off an inning. Alberto Callaspo will follow the A's catcher. .3-0 pitch. Ball 4. Well, that matchup for Nick Martinez has not been a favorable one today as far as throwing strikes.
Yeah, just something about it, throwing to Norris for the most part. Nick has been pounding the strike zone, been doing a pretty good job, but the last thing he wanted to do to start the 5th inning after getting another run, being staked to a 3-run lead, is walk Norris on 4 pitches like that. A couple of those pitches weren't very close.
You know, we talked about Norris swinging the bat so well against the Rangers. First pitch to Callaspo that's a bit low. Sometimes you get in your head as a pitcher that the hitter is the reincarnation of Babe Ruth because what he's done against you. And, statistically it doesn't bear out over the course of a year, but you just get in your mind that, hey, I've got to be really careful with this particular hitter because he's just beating us to death.
And that's when I think you got to step off, Buzz, and look at the scoreboard and see that you got a 3-run lead. I agree. Even if he does the worst thing he could possibly do, which would be hit a home run, it's still 5-3.
Yep. Mike Maddox is going to go out and see if he can't get Nick Martinez to refocus. There's been 6 straight balls to open this inning up.
There have been times today where Nick, for an extended period of time, has just pounded this fastball exactly where he wanted to and had really good success. And then there's been other times where it looked like he starts to struggle with his command and has a hard time turning it back around.
Mike out there to have a little teaching moment with Nick Martinez. (2-0) the count to Callaspo. Alberto Callaspo popped out to Luis Sardinas, his first time up. And he hits it in the air to right field. That'll chase Dick Smolinski back to the warning track. He has room in front of the scoreboard to make the grab. Back to first goes Derek Norris, and it's a case of making a guy swing the bat when you throw a strike to it.
Now batting, second baseman.
Now before Eric Sogard steps in, let's take time for a Mazda game break. Once again, here's John Radigan. Just like that. Thank you, John. It's a
turn 2
line drive double play that Adam Rosales turns into a twin killing as he tags out Derek Norris. So Mike Maddox says, hey, throw a strike and Nick Martinez does. He gets 3 quick outs, and the A's are gone in the 5th. 5-2 Rangers after 5. Sonic Slam Inning brought to you by Sonic. Today's jackpot is worth $1,000 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Today, the Rangers are hitting for Barbara Bateman from Royce City. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Barbara Bateman from Royce City will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Now, Adam Rosales will start things off, and he will face a new pitcher. Dan Otero has taken over for Sonny Gray.
Really good numbers for Dan Otero. Unusual numbers. You don't, in today's game, generally see a reliever with 65 games and 81 innings pitched. That's a lot of pitches, a lot of innings for a reliever. Not many walks, not many strikeouts. He doesn't get a lot of strikeouts. He's a sinker ball pitcher, an extreme sinker ball pitcher. And he'll get a lot of ground ball outs, and probably a lot of them aren't hit that hard.
Otero working to Adam Rosales, finds a strike on the outside corner. Rosales, a ground out and a fly out tonight. 0 for 2. 292 the average for the Ranger first baseman. Otero from the extreme first base side of that pitching rubber misses outside. 1-1 the count. Well, Sonny Gray worked 5 innings. Allowed 5 runs, 4 of them earned on 8 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Out of play, 1-2. So
what's the rule of thumb, Buzz, for which side of the rubber you throw from?
Wherever you're comfortable. Guys,
there's no angle or any reason for being on one side or the other?
Well, I preferred, being a right-hander that threw a slider, I preferred the third base side because I felt that the angle that I had with my slider was more drastic, more acute, that hitters that wouldn't look like it stayed in the strike zone that much. Guys that throw a sinker ball like Otero, a lot of them tend to work from the first base side. And Rosales gets that one that stayed up a little bit, and Adam gets his first base hit. He leads off the 6th, make that, with the single to center. The guys that throw a sinker ball want to work from the other side, so the ball, they feel they can get it on the first base side of home plate better. But it comes down to wherever you're comfortable. That slab's only 24 inches wide. It's not going to make a great difference either way.
Well, all of us pitched when we were little, in Little League or high school or wherever. I always stood on the first base side of the rubber just because it felt more comfortable to my foot, not to have my heel on the rubber.
That's as good a reason as any.
I had no theory behind it, though.
Luis Sardinus 0 for 2, a couple of groundouts. Rangers now with 9 hits this afternoon, 8 of them off Gray, and first hitter that Otero faced got a base hit against him. Rosales at first, being held on by Alberto Callaspo. Otero, another toss over to first. John Radigan was talking about that AL Central race with Detroit and Kansas City. If the A's were to lose today, if the Rangers could hang on this thing and close it out, the A's would find themselves half a game behind Kansas City for the top spot in the wild card race, and only a game and a half ahead of the Mariners.
Yeah, I guess the Mariners are who they really have to be careful of, because if the Mariners catch them, then they're not even playing anywhere.
Right.
But they've played themselves in the position to where they might have to go on the road to play that one-game play-in game. That won't be very easy.
Gardenia's trying to lay down a bunt and pushes it foul. Yeah, and the A's this year have lost the season series against all three teams that they might face in the playoffs from the wild card spot. Again, Kansas City, Detroit, and Seattle.
Yeah, so if Kansas City wins the wild card or Detroit wins the wild card spot and the A's tie the other team, they have to go to that other team to play the one game to get the one game play-in game, and both of those games could be on the road.
And Sardinia's going after that high fastball with no success. That's out number one. Yeah, it's not a very favorable situation in either case, especially playing the way the A's are right now.
No, because you don't know how the rotations are going to shake out, but let's say for that game or those two games, the A's have Smarja and Lester to pitch both games, or one of them to pitch the playing game. Well, they're in pretty good shape with those guys pitching. But if you play Kansas City, you might have James Shields. You could have Giordano Ventura, who stack up good against anybody. You play Seattle, you might face King Felix. So you're going to be matched up against a good pitcher, chances are. And in one game, even if you're not matched up against the other team's best pitcher, anything can happen. We talked about this the other night. You play 162 games, and your goal is to win the World Series. Boy, it shakes down pretty tough if you have to play one game against a really good team and a really good pitcher just to get into the playoffs, so to speak.
Exactly. I mean, that's putting 7 months of hard work on the line for one evening.
And then the team that's the play-in team that has to play that one game, they're doing whatever it takes to win that game. So when their playoff series starts, they're already at a disadvantage. The other team has set their rotation, had an extra day to rest. You've probably used your best starting pitcher, if he's available, your best 2 or 3 relievers late in the ball game if it's a close game, and now you've got to go to the next city and play a rested team with a rotation all set up. So you're behind the 8 ball in that series too.
Martin drives one to right field. Going back is full. It's over his head and off the wall. Rosales, being waved around third, will come in to score. And Leonis Martin, a ringing RBI double. It is now a 6-2 Ranger lead.
Rangers just keep. It's not a situation where you score big and then you can't do anything else and the other team has a chance to catch up. Rangers today, boy, they just keep on going. They picked up a nice run in the 5th inning on an RBI by Talise on the infield grounder, and now they pick up a run on a line shot by Martin right down the middle with that fastball. Otero didn't get the ball to sink like he wanted to. Drives it right over Folt's head. The ball caroms off the wall. He can't catch it. Rosales, who led off the inning with a single, scores. The Rangers are right back to a 4-run lead. That ball was hit hard.
Yeah, it was. Folt had no chance to get back there and make any kind of play on it. So double digits again in hits for the Rangers today. 10 of them. They've pushed across 6 runs. They have scored 6 in each of the first 3 games now, or in the first 3 games. Elvis, 1 for 3, had a first inning single. Adam Rosales scoring from first base on that Leonis Martin double. On the outside corner, 1-1 to Andrews. Elvis, a .263 hitter. Got Martin in scoring position with one out here in the 6th. Now 2-1.
Boy, that'd be something if the Rangers hold on and win this game. In 2 of the 3 series in Oakland, the Rangers would have swept the A's. 2 3-game sweeps. They can hang on and win this ball game.
Fernando Abad and Ryan Cook, lefty-righty combination in the A's bullpen. Base hit to left field. Martin around third will score. Elvis Andrus, a big RBI single. It's 7-2 Texas.
Everyone in the lineup is contributing. Elvis had a big hit last night to start a rally, another big hit to start a rally today, and now a base hit to drive in a run. Rangers just keep on going.
And Elvis, who had been scuffling with runners in scoring position, good for him. That big RBI base hit, that's going to drive Dan Otero from the ball game.
Otero didn't have a sinker today. Ball was up, it wasn't sinking, and the Rangers hit the ball well against him and picked up a couple of runs.
So Bob Melvin has signaled he wants the left-hander Abad to come on in. Rougned Odor at the plate. Rangers with 2 across in the inning, leading 7-2. We'll take a timeout. We're back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Fans, the last giveaway of the season happens on Thursday, September 25th. The Rangers playing the same A's, a 7:05 game. First 15,000 fans 14 and older get a Yu Darvish jersey courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Albertsons. Get your tickets for the last giveaway night of the year at TexasRangers.com. Now, Fernando Abad on in relief now with the Rangers leading 7-2. One out, he will face Rougned Odor. Rougned 0 for 3 this afternoon. There goes Elvis. The pitch is a strike. The throw is in time, and they got it. Elvis wants a challenge looking into the Ranger dugout, but Tim Bogar on the top step waiting for word from Joey Probinski upstairs. And here's the replay that Joey was looking at. Yeah. Got him at second.
I think Elvis's feelings were hurt more than he thought he was safe.
That can happen.
Either that or the Rangers didn't agree. He was safe and the Rangers didn't see it that way.
0-1 the count to Odor now with the bases empty. And Rougned takes strike 2. Odor has grounded out twice, once into a fielder's choice that allowed him to reach, and he scored the first Ranger run. Rangers saw Abad in that 9th inning of last night's game. He came on to get the final out. That caught stealing ends the book on Dan Otero, a third of an inning. 2 earned runs on 3 hits with 1 strikeout. Rangers have treated the vaunted bullpen of the A's rather rudely. Abad peering in for the sign. The left-hander is ready for another 0-2 pitch.
Numbers for Abad. 65th ball game. Wow. 150 ERA. 165 opponent's batting average. That's a pretty good season.
He's one of those guys you're talking about, Tom. 65 appearances, only 50 innings.
Yeah.
Hard hit ground ball to Callaspo. Going to have to go to Abad. It's not in time as Rougned Odor beats it out. Some indecision on Callaspo's part, and that cost him an opportunity, and Abad couldn't get over there in time to help him out.
Yeah, Callaspo caught the ball and made the assumption that Abad was going to cover first base. I think it was Abad in last night's game that didn't cover first base. A ball that I think got away from the first baseman last night, or maybe the second baseman, but Abad failed to cover last night, and it was hurtful. And this may or may not be a big deal. Nobody on base at the time, but that's an easy out if Abad covers first base.
Sure is. Well, that's going to do it. Abad has to get Rougned Odor and kind of hurt his own cause. So Odor aboard, and Bob Melvin is going to call for the right-hander, Ryan Cook. Infield hits. The Rangers now leading the American League by a couple of infield knocks. And Ryan Cook will come on. Again, we will take a timeout. 7-2 Rangers. We're back after this. Postseason moves to America's new sports network. Fox Sports 1 is your new home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series. And it all begins this October. Now Ryan Cook on now. He becomes the 4th pitcher employed this afternoon by the Oakland A's. Cook on to face Adrian Beltre with Rougned Odor at first and 2 outs. Adrian swing and a miss. It is 0-1. Beltre against Cook over the years, 4 for 11. That's a 364 average.
Cook's numbers on the season: 183 opponent's batting average. First pitch to Adrian, 96 miles an hour.
Cook, we saw on Tuesday night here, inning and a third of scoreless relief. That was in relief of Scott Kazmir. No balls and a strike. Adrian, a check swing roller foul. It's 0-2. The Rangers 7 runs on a dozen hits here today. Meanwhile, Martinez has held the A's to 1 hit total. 2 runs coming as a result of that 1 hit and a pair of walks. Last 4 games, the Rangers 6+ runs, 10+ hits. And Beltre having a weird hack at that one. He's gone on strikes. Well, Cook comes in, gets the punch out. Rangers are gone, but they add on 2 more runs on 4 hits, and they leave 1. After 5.5, 7-2 Rangers. This is Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest. It's brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event. Now playing at a Ford dealer near you. Nick Martinez going to work in the bottom of the 6th inning now with a 5-run advantage. 7-2 Texas. Coco Crisp, who has walked and scored 0 for 1 officially today, leads off. Nick Martinez with his 65th pitch of the afternoon, and that breaking ball is in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nick, 35 strikes out of the first 65 pitches, so not a great strike to ball ratio, but the 3 walks that he's issued have just been spurts where he just lost command of the fastball. 3rd inning, he had 2 of those 3 walks. Other than that, he's been very efficient. Line drive to center for Crisp. That'll settle in for a base hit. Well, just the 2nd hit of the afternoon for Oakland. Crisp will lead off knock, and it'll bring up Sam Full.
Yeah, Nick's still working on a pretty good pitch count. Only 67 pitches so far in the ball game.
Now batting right fielder, number 23, Sam Full.
Sam Full drove in both Oakland runs back in the 3rd inning. And a double into the right field corner after the walks to Norris and Crisp. A 1 for 2 today. Full down with 36 runs driven in. 1 ball, no strikes. .247 average overall. 4 home runs. Lazy fly ball to center. A little tougher now, that sun out from behind the clouds. You can see the difficulty Leonys Martin had with it, but he stayed with it nicely. And there's that center field you were talking about, Tom, yeah, where it's real tough.
You can tell when the guy's struggling. When he's not struggling, he tends to stand straight up. He might have his glove up there blocking the sun, but his body language kind of lets you know he's having no problem. When you see him crouched down like that, you know he's struggling to see that ball. He's got the sunglasses on. He's got the glove blocking the sun, trying to kind of look to the side a little bit to catch the ball. So he stayed with it, and he was able to watch it all the way and make the play.
Here's Josh Donaldson. The fastball poured in by Nick Martinez. Donaldson has grounded to short, fly to fairly deep center field. 0 for 2 this afternoon, hitting at 254. Rangers play him straight away on the infield, and the outfield maybe a couple of steps toward the left field. Martinez working into the 6th inning here, and that's no surprise. He has done that the last 3 starts now. Worked 6 full innings, his last 2. And 4 of his last 6. He has gone through 6 complete. And as Tom told me, that pitch count very conservative. Michael Kirkman getting ready in the Ranger bullpen if needed. 1 ball and 1 strike to Donaldson. Nick Martinez out of Hialeah, Florida, and Fordham University. We'll get a visit now from Tomas Davies. Davies might have seen the same kind of approach developing in Nick Martinez that he saw when Nick walked Derek Norris last inning. Just giving the hitter a little too much credit, trying to be too fine, too precise with the pitches.
Yeah, they definitely, if they're going to have Michael Kirkman up, they want him available. Adam Dunn, Brandon Moss are the 2 lefties. They'll probably both be pinch hit for, but that's why he's up right now.
Drive to right field, going back is Smolinski at the wall. It's off the top of the wall. Backed up by Leonis Martin. Over to third goes Coco Crisp, and into second with an opposite field double is Josh Donaldson.
Right, Martin had thrown that ball to second base. He had a shot to get Donaldson. Maybe he was throwing it to second base and it was just wild. It looked like he just picked the ball up and fired it toward the infield. Donaldson hits that ball so hard, it comes off the wall hard. Smolinski goes back, but he doesn't have a chance to catch it. The ball's going to carry him past him. But Martin comes over and backs him up, catches it on a couple of hops and comes up firing it. He throws that ball right to second base. He might have had a chance.
That ball didn't miss by much of getting out of the ballpark.
Oh, it sure didn't.
So second and third with just 1 out. Adam Dunn, the hitter, and Dunn has struck out both times that he has faced Nick Martinez, this afternoon. Rangers in an extreme overshift. Martinez is inside for ball 1.
Dunn has swung 6 times and missed them all, so that's probably why Tim Bogar is staying with him right now. He's had Dunn's number.
Martinez will continue to work from the stretch with runners at second and third.
Another one. There's 7 straight. So I guess the feeling is why bring in a lefty to face a right-handed hitting pitch hitter when you can just stay with your guy,
right,
who seems to have the number of the guy that's hitting.
That's right.
Righty-lefty doesn't make much difference. Now, Dunn's also the kind of guy who swing and miss 20 straight times and then hit one 500 feet on the 21st swing. So, getting closer anyway.
He had to cheat a little bit on that one to get the head of the bat out.
Playing pepper.
Again, Michael Kirkman throwing the left-hander. He's joined by Sean Thomason from the right side. A ball and 2 strikes to Adam Dunn. Dunn picked up by the A's the 31st of August from the White Sox. High and tight, able to lay off that pitch.
Try.
2-2. Stay with that location. Probably not going to get hurt. Chevy pitch tracker showing to that number 4, that last one, just up out of the strike zone. out a little bit over the plate and down some. Done fouling it back. With runners in scoring position, Dunn throughout his career has been a run producer. .255 average, so about 30 points higher than his overall average. He's got Crisp at third and Donaldson at second. Only Ranger on that side of the diamond, Luis Sardinas. Little looper out of the shallow right. Backing up, Elvis Andrus makes the catch in front of Rougned Odor. I don't think Elvis remembered that he was out there. Either that or he was focusing on that so much. Elvis having a little talk with Odor. So look, this is my spot over here.
Yeah, Elvis is having a talk with Odor that Adrian Beltre has with Elvis.
That's exactly right.
The veteran is telling the younger guy, that's my area.
Yeah, he's still telling him. Now, Tim Bogar out to the mound, and that is going to do it for Nick Martinez here this afternoon. Michael Kirkman will be summoned to come into the ball game, and he will face, no doubt, a pinch hitter for the A's. But Nick Martinez, 5 2/3 innings of work. He is finished for the afternoon. And while this pitching change is underway, we'll take a timeout. We're back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Left-hander Michael Kirkman on, and that will prompt a move from Bob Melvin to a pinch hitter, Johnny Gomes. Right-handed hitting outfielder coming off the bench to pinch hit for Brandon Moss. Michael Kirkman on to try and get the final out of this sixth inning. Got runners at second and third. Coco Crisp at third. Josh Donaldson right there at the bottom of your screen at second. First pitch to Gomes. 1 ball, no strikes. Their numbers for Michael Kirkman. Been put in a situation all 8 times now that has to come in and get the left-hander. This time, however, the pinch hitter removed that matchup. He's forced to work to right-handed hitting Gomes. 2 balls, no strikes. Gomes overall, 236 average, 6 home runs, 37 RBI. Gomes came over with John Lester from the Boston Red Sox in that deal that sent Yoenis Cespedes to Beantown. Oh for 3 in this series against the Rangers. The fastball in for strike 1.
And the A's had the bases loaded and nobody out. bottom of the 8th last night. Couldn't add to their 1-0 lead, which really hurt them. And you look what happened in the 9th inning. So here's another example, 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Dunn couldn't get him in, and he can get Gomes right here. A's will miss another opportunity.
Yep.
Rangers, on the other hand, are picking up most of their opportunities.
Check swing roller down the third baseline that veers off into foul territory, and Michael Kirkman now with a 2-2 count on Johnny Gomes. And by all accounts, from the folks that have been watching the A's, that's typical of what's been happening. Opportunities gone by the wayside, and we saw on Tuesday night, he played really a disastrous game defensively. Had a couple of critical errors and several plays that weren't made that you would expect Bob Melvin's club to make. Kirkman nods in agreement. The left-hander sets. Breaking ball. See you later. Call strike 3. And that slider chews on the inside corner for the strikeout. Kirkman gets the job done. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left for Oakland. We go to the 7th inning. 7-2 Rangers.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the Athletics, number 15, Johnny Gomes.
Well, a 4-game summary again, showing you Rangers doing the job against Oakland. 7 runs on 12 hits for the Rangers. Jake Smolinski, 3 for 3. RBI and a run scored. Rangers all 4 runs in the first inning came after 2 were out, and that's been a hallmark of this Ranger ball club, especially lately. Well, they trying to make it a clean sweep over Oakland, have their longest winning streak of the year at 5 games coming in, looking for number 6 here this afternoon. And Jason Hamill has entered the ball game to take over for the A's in the 7th inning.
Jason Hamill has had 11 starts since he came over with Smarja from the Cubs. Those are his numbers as a starter. I read, though, that he's going to be going home. I think his wife is going to give birth sometime later on this week or this weekend, and he's going to miss his next start. So they're probably getting him in a ball game while they can and save the bullpen some innings. I guess that's what's going on.
And Jake Smolinski leading things off. Johnny Gomes stays in the game to play left field, taking over for Brandon Moss. 0-1 the count. Hamill back to the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Smolinski 3 singles. He has driven in a run, scored a run. That run scored came back in the first inning. But Jake now with the average at .404. Little looper out into center field, charging hard as Crisp. He can't get there. It's in for a base hit. And there's a 4-hit game for Jake Smolinski.
4-hit game, and he might have another at bat coming in the 9th inning.
That is the least hard hit ball that he's had all day, and it still fell in.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, the other 3 have all been hit well. That one looked like a hanging slider. They hit him off the handle a little bit. Thought Chris might have a chance, but didn't risk the dive for it.
No, 1 on, nobody out. Rangers now with a baker's dozen worth of hits this afternoon. 13 of them is Tomas Taylor. Takes outside and low for ball 1. First career 4-hit game for Jake Smolinski.
Hadn't been a long career yet.
Nope.
But you have to have your first one sometime. Didn't take him long to have his, I'll
No,
tell you that.
He got it out of the way in a hurry, didn't he?
A lot of people don't have many 4-hit games.
1 ball and 1 strike to Taylor's. Tomas 1 for 3. He has driven in a couple of runs, though. An RBI single in the first and an RBI and a fielder's choice ground out in the 5th. Smolinski, a rather modest lead at first. And the pitch foul back. 1 and 2. Now the Rangers continuing to hit well on the road. They have gotten that average up now close to 260, 258, which coming into the game was best or 4th best in the American League. Two and 2. Our previous foul ball. What a play.
There you go. Not making that play without a glove.
That's the best play by somebody in green and gold we've seen in this series. And call strike 3. Tomas Taylor. Not caught admiring that big hook from Jason Hamill.
First time, obviously, that he's seen Jason Hamill. First time he's seen that hook that he has, and that resulted in taking it for strike 3.
So 1 away now. It's Ryan Rua to come up. Rua 2 for 3 today. 290 the average. RBI has increased his total for his time in the big leagues to 8. He backs away from the breaking ball, but it catches the inside corner for strike 1. Rua now 6 for his last 12 times to the plate. His 3-game hitting streak. Another breaking ball. Same result. 0-2. Smolinski stepping off his lead at first. Hamill will check him. Got him swinging. Hamill, nothing but off-speed pitches. And Rua down on strikes. 2 gone for Adam Rosales.
And Nick Martinez was talking about, for the most part, generally speaking, he felt like he's better off with a slider than a curveball. The big league hitters react better to his curveball than they do to his slider. Generally speaking, that's probably true. But occasionally you have a guy with a really good curveball and it can work out for him. Hamill looks like his curveball is pretty successful.
Yep.
At least in that at bat it was.
Adam Rosales, a 1 for 3 afternoon so far. Stepping in with 1 on and 2 out. 0-1 the count.
Good fastball too. Hamill's throwing a couple of balls 95 miles an hour. I didn't know he threw that hard.
Maybe one of those guys when he has a short
Yeah.
appearance available.
Like
he
Wade
airs
Davis.
it out. Yeah. Nick Martinez, 5 2/3 innings of work here this afternoon. And Rosales eyeballing that fastball just off the plate. 1-1. Adam started off the 2-run Rangers 6th with a single to center. Came around to score on the double by Leonis Martin. Hamill sets at the belt. 1-2 now.
Hamill got knocked around when he first joined the A's. Don't know the exact stats, but in his first 6 or 7 starts for the A's, for the most part, he was struggling. Lately, though, in his last 4 or 5 starts, he's gotten much better.
Hamill studying the signs, the right-hander. A look over his left shoulder at first base. Got him swinging. Well, Hamill gives up a leadoff single, then proceeds to strike out to Leeds, Rua, and Rosales. Rangers gone. It's stretch time in Oakland. Rangers 7 and the A's 2. We'll take a look at the upcoming schedule brought to you by Progressive. Rangers finishing up this series here this afternoon. Then it's on down the coast to take on the Angels in Anaheim. Bonilla and Santiago, the principals tomorrow night. We'll have that for you on TEX AT 21 at 9 o'clock start. And then the Rangers finish up on Saturday night and Sunday afternoon before coming back home to face the Astros and these A's, the final 7 games in the last homestand of the season. 7-2 as the A's come to bat in the bottom of the 7th. Sean Tollison has entered the game, taking over on the mound.
Have Sean's numbers on the season, solid numbers, good ERA. Great opponent's batting average, .210. The only reason his ERA isn't as low as his opponent's batting average was he gave up 10 home runs.
And the first pitch to Jed Lowry in at the knees. No balls and a strike. Lowry, 2 fly balls to center, 0 for 2 this afternoon. A's with just 3 hits to go along with their 2 runs. Off speed, that's a bit low. Sean Tollison, the 26-year-old from Allen, Texas. Baylor X. Pulled on the ground by Odor into right field. A leadoff single for Lowry.
Sean and Neil Kotz are the only bullpen guys that have been here all year, stayed healthy, and have been in the bullpen all season long. Other guys have come and gone, joined late, or been hurt.
Now batting the catcher.
Well, leadoff single for Lowry. Now Derek Norris will come up. Norris walked both times that he faced Nick Martinez today. 2 of the 3 walks that Nick issued were to the A's catcher. Norris scoring that run after a walk in the 3rd inning. Tollison, a high set. And just misses low and outside. Ball 1. Norris 1 for 3 against Sean Tollison. Right-hander okays the sign. And pours a fastball right through there. Sean worked 2/3 of an inning last night. Gave up a couple of hits, but no runs. In fact, he was part of that 8th inning. Saw the A's load the bases with nobody out. Good off-speed pitch. 1-2. Norris taking his time getting back in there. Domas Talis flashing the signs out, and Tollison picks one out. 2-2 now. Neil Kotz loosening in that Ranger bullpen. Tollison checks Lowry at first, now backs off the back of the pitching rubber. One on, nobody out. Bottom of the 7th inning. Rangers leading by 5. It's 7-2 Texas. Little tapper foul that back behind home plate. Making his 25th start in the last 26 games for Oakland. This is 18th behind the plate. We mentioned the injury situation for the A's catchers have dictated that Norris get most of the starts behind the plate. There's a ball way in front of home plate in the dirt, and down to second goes Jed Lowry on the wild pitch. It's like a changeup that got stuck in John Tollison's hand.
Taylor's did a great job of blocking it, but just like the Rangers have done in this series, Lowry was off the minute the ball hit the ground. Blocked it as well as he possibly could. And it wasn't easy to block. He almost had to stand up to block it.
I take it back. That was the breaking ball from John Tollison. He just spiked into the dirt out in front of home plate. Payoff pitch. Popped up shallow left center field. Rua and Leonis Martin. It's the center fielder Martin to make the grab. That's out number 1. And before Alberto Callaspo comes up, let's take time for a Mazda game break. Once again, here's John Radigan.
Now batting first baseman, number 7, Alberto Callaspo.
All right, John, thank you. And here the Rangers trying to finish off a sweep when their 6th game in a row. And John Tollison working to Alberto Callaspo. Throws the changeup in for strike 1. Callaspo 0 for 2, a pop out and a fly out this afternoon. Average at 227. Callaspo, another one of the A's that's really cooled off. One ball, one strike. Callaspo, despite having good numbers here at home, a 279 average in Oakland as opposed to 188 away. Showed you that number before, hitting under 100 in his last 3 weeks of play. Pitch chop foul. One ball and 2 strikes. Callaspo came over last year from the Angels, acquired at the trading deadline in exchange for Grant Green. Drove in 22 runs in 50 games with Oakland. Shot foul down the left side into the A's bullpen. Still a ball and 2 strikes. John Tollison, the 3rd pitcher used by the Rangers here this afternoon. Tim Bogar had Nick Martinez start with 5 2/3. Michael Kirkman came in and got 1 out in the 6th. And now John Tollison. That's just a bit low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Our Fox tracker would
they dispute what you just said, Buzz.
Disagree with Gary Cederstrom. That's pretty much all the way in the strike zone.
Definitely callable.
Crowd of about 17,500 on hand here this afternoon. It's now a bright, sunny Thursday afternoon. That pitch low, and the count has gone full. Well, 1 out. Tollison in danger of losing Cayasco. Eric Sogard, the 2nd baseman, is waiting in the on-deck circle. Tollison reading the series of signs. And now the right-hander is set. Payoff pitch. Got him swinging.
Change up. He swung at that before it was halfway to the plate.
Tollison with his first strikeout. 2 gone, and Sogard coming to the plate, but not before Tim Bogar heads out to the mound. He had the left-hander Kotz ready in the bullpen. And Bogar making the call to bring in Neil Kotz. So Sean Tollison gets 2 of the 3 hitters he's asked to in the 7th inning. He will depart with a runner at second base, his responsibility. Neil Kotz coming on. We'll take a timeout. We're back after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming in to pitch for Texas, number 56, Neil.
Now for our AT&T fan photo selection of the day. Again, thanks to the good folks at AT&T for making this possible. This is from Steve. Steve, we appreciate the photo. A great shot of Globe Life Park. Folks who would like to get your photo on our air, it's hashtag Southwest Fan Photo. We might select yours to be shown during one of our upcoming broadcasts. Neil Kotz up now to face Nick Punto, the pinch hitter for Eric Sogard. The first pitch in for strike one. Here are the numbers for Neil Kotz.
We mentioned last night that no team platoons more than the A's. When you bring in another side pitcher, lefty versus a righty, you're generally going to see a lot of pinch hitters.
Punto fouling that pitch back. Finds himself down in the count now, 0-2. Punto at 207, 2 home runs, 13 driven in. He's up there with Jed Lowry at second base, 2 gone here in the 7th inning. Rangers leading 7-2. Lowry started the inning with a base hit to right field, advances on a wild pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Spencer Patton loosening now in the Ranger bullpen. Nick Punto, the veteran middle infielder, a switch hitter by trade, but primarily used as a right-handed hitter. Right-handed hitting portion of that platoon that Tom talked about with Eric Sogard. Grounded foul outside third. We'll come back and try it again. Punto back in the batter's box. Neil Kotz planting that left foot in front of the pitching rubber. Checking the signs from Tomas Telis. 2-2. Kotz accepts the sign, checks the runner. Got him swinging. Punto out on strikes. Kotz comes in, gets the one man he is asked to. A Strander runner on a base hit will go to the 8th inning here at O'Dotco Coliseum. 7-2 Rangers. U-verse Rewind. It has been a great afternoon by Jake Smolinski. Matter of fact, the career afternoon. 4 singles. RBI single in the first, the base hit in the third, another single in the 5th inning, and then in the 7th, the 4th of the afternoon. Jake Smolinski, his first 4-hit game as a big leaguer. Luis Sardinas starting off the Ranger 8th against Jason Hamill. There is Jake. Yeah, memorable afternoon that probably have a baseball or two from this day to put on the mantle. Sardinas fouls the next pitch, and he's down in the count now, 0-2. Luis today has grounded out twice and struck out. 263 his average. Jason Hamill gave up a leadoff single in the 7th inning and proceeded to strike out Telis, Ruop, and Rosales, and now he's made it 4 in a row as he gets Luis Sardinas looking.
For the Athletics, number 1, Nick Punto remains in the game. now playing second base.
Well, 4 consecutive strikeouts. We'll take the Rangers now back to the top of the order for Leonis Martin. Martin 1 for 3, RBI double, and a run scored in the 6th.
Hamill was pretty much throwing as well as Samardzija with the Cubs. He had an ERA under 3, opponent's batting average .222. He was 8-5. Numbers of Oakland aren't quite as good, but they've been better lately.
Yeah, Leonis Martin with his second hit of the afternoon as he bounces one through the middle and into center field. So Martin 2 for 4 now, on board for the 3rd time in 5 at-bats this afternoon. And the Rangers just continue to get base hits here this afternoon. Mentioned the firmness of the infield. You got a pretty good idea about the firmness out in front of home plate, and then that one bounce off the dirt around second, boy, it just shot into center field.
It's like AstroTurf.
Yeah.
Remember the old AstroTurf in Comiskey Park?
I do.
That was like a mat you might hit off at a driving range. It's about 5 years old. That's what that stuff felt like.
Yeah, kind of a spongy feel to it, that hard in spots and worn out in spots. Elvis, a 2-hit afternoon. He's 2 for 4, a pair of singles and an RBI. Takes a strike from Hamill. It is 1-1. Yeah, that was the field where they had the dirt in a normal configuration. So it was just the skin infield was like it is anyplace else, and the AstroTurf just covered the grass parts of the infield like it would in this ballpark.
Yeah, and they had grass in the outfield.
Yeah,
all they had was an AstroTurf infield, normal dirt and grass in the outfield. That was ugly, boy.
Ugly, and you got some weird hops off that turf when it hit the dirt.
And then they wore shorts one year.
That's right. 2-1 to Elvis. Could be a double play ground ball to second for 1. The return dug out by Callaspo. A 6-4-3 double play, and that erases the Ranger 8th inning. No runs, a hit, nobody left after 7.5, 7-2 Texas. All right, John, thanks very much. Well, Neil Kotz, who struck out Nick Punto to end the 7th, back out there for the 8th, now facing the top of the Oakland order. And Coco Crisp takes strike 1. Crisp turning around to bat from the right side against the left-hander Kotz. 1 for 2 for Crisp. A base hit his last time up. 1-1. Crisp also has walked and scored a run this afternoon. A's have been out hit 14-4 by the Rangers. Line drive and right at Rosales. One step to his left, and Adam flags that ball down. Crisp will make a U-turn, head back to the A's dugout. 1 out for Sam Fuld.
The A's still having a very difficult time getting anything going. They're not hitting the ball out of the ballpark. They're having a hard time putting a rally together. The only reason they have 2 runs today is because they had 2 walks ahead of Fuld's extra base hit. They only have 4 hits in the game.
Sam Fuld 1 for 3 with that 2-run double. 1 ball, no strikes. Pulled fair down the first baseline. And Fuld's going to have extra bases. Smolinski over to cut it off and into second with a 1-out double. His second double of the afternoon is Sam Fuld.
Fuld's been the one guy swinging the bat. He drove in the only run last night. Driven in the only 2 today and has 2 hits. A couple of extra base hits. He doesn't get platooned. He stays in there against the lefties.
Just by the dive of Adam Rosales, and that's going to do it for Neil Kotz. Tim Bogart wants the right-hander Spencer Patton to come in. So another pitching change here in Oakland. We'll take a timeout. We're back after this with the Rangers leading 7-2. This Saturday, Oklahoma takes on West Virginia. Fox Sports 1, or Fox Sports, I should say, at 5:30 Central Time. Only on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Spencer Patton on with Sam Fuld at second, 1 out here in the 8th inning, and facing Josh Donaldson. The first pitch from the 26-year-old right-hander. Spencer Patton is in for strike 1.
Yep, Spencer's done a good job. This will be his 6th ball game. Hasn't pitched a lot, but when he has, shown the ability to throw strikes and make quality pitches.
Donaldson a double in 3 trips. And he skies one to center field. Leonis Martin using that glove to shade his eyes. Has it under control, tagging at second, moving over to third ahead of the throw is Sam Fuld, but he's there now with 2 outs. And Adam Dunn will be the hitter.
Got Donaldson to reach off balance for a breaking ball, pop it up to center field. That's a big out. One of the guys in the lineup that can do some damage with one swing of the bat, although he hasn't been doing that lately. Only hit 2 home runs in his last 32 ball games. That's something the A's have been missing. Long ball power in the middle of the lineup. Of course, they've been missing base hits. They've been missing everything offensively. It's not just the home run, but at least that can mask some of the problems if you hit the ball out of the ballpark.
And Adam Dunn takes that first pitch high and outside for ball 1. Dunn against Nick Martinez today had no luck whatsoever. Struck out twice and popped out. One ball he put in play was a jam shot out to Elvis Andrus. Pitch foul back. Rangers, of course, in that big overshift with Dunn up there and Fuld the runner at third base. And without a third baseman to keep Fuld fairly close at third, then Spencer Patton paying more attention from the stretch to Fuld, not letting him walk down that line. 2 balls and a strike. Spencer Patton, who the Rangers acquired in the deal that sent Jason Frazier to Kansas City. This is outside again. 3 balls and a strike to Dunn. Now, if Dunn extends this 8th inning, Johnny Gomes, right-handed hitting outfielder. Well, as a matter of fact, looking down the on-deck circle, he's being called back. He will not hit against the right-hander Patton. 3-1 coming to Dunn. 3-2.
Stephen Vogt is in the on-deck circle. Josh Reddick normally would have played today against the right-handed pitcher, but he took a tumble beating out an infield hit last night. I'm assuming that's the reason he's not playing today.
Yeah, that's what it was announced as, and they didn't specify any injury in particular. He might have had 3 or 4.
Yeah, he could have had several.
Wow. Payoff pitch, and that's fouled out of play to the left.
Definitely jammed his foot and leg into the bag when he took that leap. Then when he fell on his shoulder.
Another 3-2 coming from Patton. Got him swinging. The hat trick for Adam Dunn this afternoon. He strikes out for the 3rd time. A's strand a runner at third after a double. 9th inning coming up here in Oakland. Rangers 7, A's 2.
The Rangers lead the A's by a score of 7-2 as we welcome you back to O.co Coliseum here in Oakland. This is the last of 3 between these two teams here in Oakland. After this, it is off to Anaheim to take on the AL West Division winning Angels. And Mike Trout and company should be ready. I don't know how rested they will be after last night's celebrations, but Rougned Odor and Mike Trout, a couple of the hotter hitters in this one as we get things going tomorrow night right here on Fox Sports Southwest. And all this glorious information brought to you by AT&T Uverse, fellas.
All right, Ann, thank you. And the aforementioned Rougned Odor is indeed leading off the Ranger 9th inning. Odor, a base hit in 4 trips. And he takes a strike from Jason Hamill. Rougned, an infield single in the 6th inning. Other than that, he has grounded out a couple of times and struck out. Hamill rushing it up to home plate pretty well this afternoon.
I guess so.
In his 3rd inning of work today. And Hamill, as Tom told you, a starter by trade. Well, he's not holding anything back here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pulled through the hole by Odor, a base hit. Well, he turned around some of that good heat. And Odor, with his 2nd hit, 2nd consecutive hit, leads off the 9th inning for the Rangers.
Yeah, he was 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Now he's 2 for 5. A couple of base hits. And one of his outs, just like last night, was a hard hit ball, smash one hopper to shortstop that Lowry fielded and made a nice play on.
And Adrian Beltre, career hits leader now for Dominican-born players. Past Vladimir Guerrero with the single back in the 1st inning. Pretty distinguished list right there. Guerrero and Julio Franco, Manny Ramirez. Rolled down to 3rd, could be 2. Donaldson, Sogard, or Punto, and back to Callasco. 5-4-3 around the horn goes the double play. And now the base is empty with 2 away for Jake Smolinski. 2nd double play the Rangers have rounded into this afternoon. Check that. That's the first double play.
Jake Smolinski.
Well, Smolinski trying to continue his perfect afternoon. Jake is 4 for 4. All 4 singles. He has driven in a run. He has scored a run. He was the first batter that Jason Hamill faced as he started the 7th inning, and Smolinski dumped a single into center field. Jake now with that average at .417. And we're not talking about a small sample size. He's gotten some at-bats going. And they're going to get him out here, assuming that Coco Crisp locates that ball, and boy, he just barely did. Smolinski is human after all. He flies out to center field. No runs, a hit, nobody left. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Rangers trying to close out a 7-2 lead. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. By AT&T U-Burst TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world. And by your Texas Ford dealer. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event. Now playing at a Ford dealer near you. A beautiful shot of the port of Oakland. Crowd here at Odotco Coliseum seeing the Rangers getting set to close out a series sweep over the Oakland A's. Would be the second consecutive sweep for the Rangers and the second sweep this year here in Oakland. Spencer Patton, who recorded the last 2 outs of the 8th inning, will start the 9th by working to Johnny Gomes. And Patton fires strike 1 at the knees. Gomes came on as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning, was called out on strikes then. That was against Michael Kirkman. Patton hits the outside corner, 0-2 very quickly. Last time the Rangers had a win streak longer than 6 games was this time last year. You remember the closing out the 2013 season was 7 in a row. They haven't been able to match that since. They're looking to not only increase their victory streak to 6 games, but also to increase their record under Tim Bogart to 7-5. And of course, appointed the interim manager on the 5th of September. And ball club playing well. 2-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Good sharp breaking ball from Spencer Patton. That is his second consecutive strikeout. One gone here in the 9th, and Jed Lowry will come up.
Yeah, good stuff for Spencer. Throwing strikes with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Struck out Dunn, blew him away with a fastball. And throws that slider into no man's land and gets Gomes to swing at it. 3 batters face, couple of strikeouts.
Jed Lowry singled his last time up, 1 for 3. Takes that first fastball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Odor knocks it down. Will not have a play, though, as Lowry gets down that line pretty well. That'll be an infield single off the bat of Jed Lowry, his second straight hit.
That's one of the first times we haven't seen Rougned make that play.
Yep.
It was something that he struggled with early in the year, the backhand, but then he put in work almost every day. Ron Washington was out there frequently working with him. Tim Bogart out there working with him. And he's become very proficient going to his right with a backhand. Early in the season, you might have expected that play, but now it's almost a surprise he didn't make the play. Not an easy play, but he's been making it.
And just in case, Neftali Feliz starting to loosen in that Ranger bullpen. Ryan Anderson on as a pinch hitter here for Derek Norris. Anderson, the left-handed hitter, and he chops one to first. Backing up, Rosales goes to second. They get one to return to first, and the double play makes that a winner.
I wasn't expecting that.
How about that?
I thought he was going to get one.
He got one, and then he got one again. Wow, what a way to end a Ranger sweep of the A's, a 3-6-1 double play. And that makes the Ranger winning streak 6 consecutive ball games, the longest since the season-ending streak last year. It was 7 games, and an outstanding effort here in Oakland as the A's really reeling when the Rangers came in, and the Rangers made sure that they kept them that way. So 7-2 the final. Rangers 7 runs on 15 hits this afternoon. The A's 2 runs on 6 hits. Nick Martinez continuing to pitch well on the road now, has all 4 of his victories away from Globe Life Park. And boy, the defense like this, you can understand why the Rangers able to keep things going. Adam Rosales making an outstanding play to start that game-ending double play. And then Spencer Patton doing his job of getting over there and covering first to take the return throw. The hardest double play to complete in baseball, that 3-6-1. And Tim Bogart's club gets it done. So the Rangers now winners of 6 straight ball games. And they head down south now to take on the division champions, the Los Angeles Angels. And let's head down to the field. Emily Jones is standing by with one of the stars of the game.
Thank you very much, Elvis Andrus. Elvis, 6 in a row. I would imagine you'll take that.
Yeah, for sure. It feels really well right now. We haven't had a winning streak like that in a while, so it's always good to at least finish the year strong.
I know you've talked about before how it all starts with the pitching. You guys have really gotten that during this streak.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's a team effort. Everybody's doing their part. You can see all the young guys are feeling comfortable every single day more, and that's what we want. We want them to continue to keep playing and keep growing.
How important is that for this team, like you said, to finish strong, to put something positive together, especially for those young guys that haven't experienced that success?
Oh, it's huge. They know there's a huge, big opportunity for them to show what they can do here in the Major League level, and for sure, they're going to help us a lot next year too. So really glad the job they're doing right now. They're playing hard and they're hustling every time.
Elvis, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Congratulations on the win. High five. 6 in a row, fellas. We'll take it.
All right, Em, thank you. Yep, Rangers certainly will take that and turning their fortunes around as they head down south. We'll come back to O.co Coliseum to wrap things right up right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.